So this is the most interesting video you will ever get to watch. The reason is, it's about sex. Now, first of all, there's sex, like which are you, a man, a woman, a boy, a girl, an adult, a child, an alien or a human, a plant, a mineral, a vegetable, an oil. Are you a bird or a fish or a tree? All of these things have a sex to them. Sex, the tree's roots are having sex with the soil.
Yeah.
Looking at somebody is having sex with them. Yes. Thinking about somebody is having sex with them. Talking about somebody is having sex with them. Listening to somebody is having sex with them. Okay? And there's various forms of sex, physical and metaphysical sex. Okay? Sex is the exchange of, in one form, bodily fluids, in another form, energy and information experience. But sex is a very popular subject. There's several people that literally come into the body, they don't have sex with themselves or anybody else, they're celibate and they don't masturbate, and they live their whole life. And there's others that just have sex with themselves, they masturbate but they never play with anybody else. And there's others that pick one person at some point in their life and choose to play sexually, sensually and intimately with that person and stay with that person forever. And then there's others that do other things. There's lots of other... If it's thinkable and doable, humans have done it. Everything from playing with sheep to playing with each other in various small, medium, large groups and in all sorts of positions, okay?
Yeah.
But the reality is, the sex thing, the key to sex is when you're hot, and when you're not, you're not. When you're hot, when you're not, you're not. When you're in the mood for it, you're in the mood for it, and when you're not, you're not. I'm sure you've never turned down sex, Richard, right? But there are people who say no regularly to sex because their value system in that moment has food as a higher priority, or a movie as a higher priority, or watching the television as a higher priority, or going to see their mother as a higher priority, or their sick relative, or their wife that's on a coma. They make something a priority over that. Okay? But there's a song, sex is natural, sex is good, not everybody does it, but everybody should. There are many ways to have sex. You can learn some Eastern practices to take the energy that a man would, squirt out. Literally, a man builds something, erects something, thrusts and throws something out. A woman opens something, literally opens something, lets something in, and trusts. Man thrusts, woman trusts. Biology means that a woman is orientated towards receiving, and a man is orientated towards either giving or invading or killing, bringing home the bacon, usually dead. The pig is involved. The bacon is committed.
Okay.
Good. So what I'm saying is that you actually get that in the sex game, the boy-girl game and the sex game, you're either having none, some, or lots.
Okay.
That's all there is to it. The choices are none, some, or lots. Then there's various configurations of none, configurations of some or lots. There's various ways you can organize and orchestrate it, but it's a bit like the menu of life, like the menu of food, or the map points of the territory, the menu points of the food, and the options that you have in sex you've got to choose from. If you're an adult, you are a sexual being. If you're a child, you're a sexual being. There are cultures on the earth where as soon as a woman starts to ovulate, she's ready to have children. And there are women who start ovulating between 5 and 6 in certain cultures and climates, in countries and cultures and climates. So that's illegal in other parts of the world, okay? But in that culture, it's totally acceptable because they say, who are we to argue with Mother Nature? If Mother Nature has made her fertile and she's played with a boy who's also fertile, she's ready to have a child. Now, because they think that that's okay, they don't have a problem with being a parent before they're 10. In other cultures, we're told not to do anything until we're 18 to 21 and then be very careful about what we do, and certainly not in this state because you can't do that position or that action or that conversation in this state because it's illegal and you get thrown in jail or hanged and drawn and quartered or something. So there will come a time in the future where there's no disease, there's no fear of disease, there's no worry about I'm going to catch something or I'm going to give something to somebody. Because sexual disease is a lack of ease around sexuality, sensuality, and intimacy. That's why it affects that physical or energetic part of your being. So, but if you're at ease and joy and grace and pleasure, the game of sex is to cause pleasure for yourself and each other. That's why God, or the Creator, made it so pleasurable, is so that you would replicate the species, it wouldn't go extinct. and also stimulate you just before a world war to have more of it, not less of it, because you feel intuitive like we're going to be depleted or wiped out. And this works across all creatures in all dimensions, including this biosphere and all other things we know that live in the cosmos. Same pattern. It's called survival-based instinct. So first thing you do is try to get out of harm's way if there is harm in the way, like a dinosaur coming or a fire, or you'll do what you can to get yourself and the ones you care and love about out of the harm's way. Okay. Second is, the trick is to keep breathing. You stop breathing for long enough, most people think it's over. It isn't true of all beings, but most beings, when you stop breathing for 2 to 3 or 5 or 10 minutes, they declare you dead and it's over. You don't know how to restart the engine or restart the system. You clear? So if you don't know how to jumpstart or restart the system, that system's dead. But is it really dead? If you have a radio and a radio station transmitting and the radio's battery goes dead, if you replace the battery and it's still tuned into the same station, it's still playing, you just aren't turned on and tuned in. So we look at it that way, and we go through this in depth in the courses. And those of you who want more sex, better sex, different sex, you want to come to the course. And those of you who want to be celibate, you definitely want to come to the course, because we'll give you some food for thought. You can't make a horse drink, but you can put salt in its oats. Okay? You can't make a human being think, but you can give them food for thought and let them, marinate and stew in the juices of that. So if you come to us by phone, by web, or in the world, for free for a fee or as a VIP, as a member, mentor, or master in the beginning classes, as a mover and shaker in the more advanced classes, and as a movement leader in the very advanced classes, you'll get to play, have fun, make love, celebrate life, and get paid while it's all happening. On the next video, we're going to discuss remuneration, recognition, reward, which is a very important part, because most people don't get recognized, don't get rewarded, don't get remunerated, or if they do, they don't get really valued as the priceless contribution they are. But if I asked your parents, I'm going to take Richard's life, how much is it worth to you? They wouldn't know how to pick a price for that unless they wanted to put a ransom on your head and didn't like you, right? But my point is, you are priceless, you are irreplaceable. There is only one Richard Voller. There might be others with a name, but there's no one like you that thinks the way you think, speaks the way you speak, acts the way you act, responds the way you respond, reacts the way you react, does the things you do, says the things you say. There is no one like you. There never has been and there never will be. You're unique, distinct, and discreet. So we want to acknowledge you for just being, not doing and having. So the way we recognize and reward and remunerate our participants and our partners, participants on the inside, partners on the outside, is we actually have a system, like airline miles, points. We call it peace pays points, peace pays people, peace pays percentages, peace pays profits, and peace pays proceeds, and then a lot of other PPPs. Okay? Now here's what causes poverty, PPP, piss poor planning. Most people are failing to plan and therefore planning to fail. The first thing we do with you is create a strategic life plan. How long do you expect to live, Richard?
112 years.
112 years. How long do you expect to live, Heather? Forever. Say something. Forever. Okay? Now, forever is a different context than 112. You're telling your mind to stop your body at 112, have somebody, you or somebody else, dig a hole in the ground, get in it, or take your dead meat and flesh and blood and bone and burn it and then put it in a little jar and give it to somebody. Okay? You are programming yourself to a limit of 112. Most people, when I ask the question, it's somewhere between 60 to 120 ideally, and they learn that from somewhere in their environment. If you go to certain countries in Asia, India, Russia, you'll find that they think longer. They think 180, some of them 250. Some of them have met people who've lived over 1,000 years. You go, that doesn't exist. I've never seen that, never heard of that. Well, start looking on the web. Google's a pretty interesting tool. You'll be amazed. There are people who are nearly 10,000 years old living on the planet right now. They speak every language known to species. They have distinctions because they've got total recall. It takes something to get through and past all diseases and through and past all centuries and the things that are happening in those centuries and to still be here. Can you imagine being physically around that long? You know a lot of stuff that other people are guessing about what happened 10, 100, 1,000 years ago. You don't hear the stories about. You were in the experience of it. Now, it's difficult to explain because the mind doesn't... The The mind can only absorb what the sea can endure. And so I want you to be present. We're doing these 10-minute little videos to just get you started as a teaser, trailer, preview, promo, sample example of what we're going to give you on the other side, the inside of our game. We've created a game, we've created some rules, now we're offering it to you, the listener, you, the viewer, you, the reader and writer, you, the blogger, you, the movie maker, you, the partner or the participant or the presenter, promoter, producer. We're here to empower you to be all that you could possibly be. We're here to support you, love you, serve you, recognize and reward you in ways financial and non-financial, monetized and non-monetized. And our currency is called peace-based points. And PPP, as we call it, is designed to have you be more peaceful, prosperous, and productive. That's more peaceful, more prosperous, more productive. We're going to talk about recognition, reward, and remuneration on the next video. Thank you for your opportunity to exchange and engage with you. If you haven't already opted in, you can opt in here where Richard's posted this. You can opt in at LimitLessNOW. You can opt in at The Pope Game, thepopegame.com. You can opt in at LimitLessNOW.com, or you can opt in at Richard's site, which is touchedbyart.org, which stands for orgasm or orgy or organization or organic growth and development. So you've got the Pope Game. The Pope Game stands for Peace on Planet Earth, not the Pope as in the Vatican. They'll be extinct soon. If you go to hiddenbyorder.com, you'll know why. Hiddenbyorder.com, you'll know why that is. The Vatican game is going to be interesting. So you've got thepopegame.com, you've got touchedbyart.org, and then you've got Limitless Now. On the top, you'll see New Optimal World. New Optimal World is a world that works better forever for everyone. That's where we're heading towards, out to the space and stars and to the cosmos. That's what human life is going to be like. Thank you for joining us. The next video is about recognition, reward, and remuneration.